So let's talk about socialism, because you guys probably weren't talking about that on the wrestling stage.
Well, you'd actually be surprised.
Socialism is apparently cool with the kids now, but why is socialism a bad idea?
Well, first of all, it's predicated on the use of force. If I don't want to go along with the policy, someone's going to force me to do that. I mean, in the end, that's what we should all ask ourselves about a government policy. Is this something that you would be willing to force your neighbor to do at gunpoint? Then second of all, from an economic standpoint, because the central planners are not in the system, they have no idea of what's really going on in the system. For example, if you look at pure communism, it's always failed. It failed in Russia because there are no prices. So you can't allocate resources correctly. And what the Russians would do is the Russians would actually order mail order catalogs. They'd get mail order catalogs from the US and look through so that they had sort of an idea of how much certain things should cost in relationship to each other. And then also you're going to completely lose innovation because there's no profit motive. Why would I want to go out there and work really hard and as an entrepreneur put my capital and put my time into research and development and bring a product to market when I'm not going to be able to keep the profits and the fruit of my labor? That's the incentives are completely perverted and distorted. And socialism, for many folks, they look at it as being kind and compassionate. It's not. In the end, it's based on a gun, and it's based on forcing people to do what one group of people think that they should be doing.
I think a lot of people don't know about the body count, how many lives were cost.
A lot of these places, of course, have been pretty affluent societies, and then they adopted socialism, or in its purest form, communism, and they fell apart. And all that's happened is death and human misery and poverty. I guess it's just sad and ironic because we see that throughout history, time and time and time again, and someone rebrands it and, oh, this is a brand new idea. No, it's not. It's the same old thing. And it's awful, and it results in just the worst consequences.
It's kind of like the movie Groundhog Day. We keep waking up and say, okay, this time it's going to work. We're going to get it right. And you know, when you tell these stories, you talk about how many people Mao killed and how people are starving in Venezuela. And the socialists will tweet back, that's not socialism, that's state capitalism, that's oligarchy. They have all these sort of workarounds. Yeah. But it gets to your 2 points. Incentives and knowledge. Can you trust people with that much power? And even if you could, do they know enough to redesign things from the top down?
Right, and they can't. I mean, it's impossible.
So I sort of see why young people are confused, because they know that the system's broken, and they know that this collusion between big government and big business is a bad thing. And yet somehow we jump to, well, let's put more power in one place.
Language is important, you know, as Orwell always said and talked about, say in 1984, and if you're able to control language, you're able to control people. And I think to some extent, really inadvertently, that's what's happened.